In today's video, I would really like to show you around my workshop. This is where I spend a lot of my time, and I thought I would like to show the people of the internet what I was doing in here. My workshop is currently a bit messy. I have quite a lot of things, I would say, and I don't have a lot of space, but I have to be grateful for what I have, so I make do. Let me start from the end. Here is my future welding table, which I constructed in welding school. I'm a second year student and I think it's going pretty well. I have my table here, which I have welded up from 50 by 50 by 4 millimeter tubes. On top of this table, I will be bolting down this gigantic welding plate that I had laser cut. It's 20 millimeters. Lengthwise, it is 1980. And the width is 920 millimeters. I would like to believe that the welding table is a central part of the workshop due to its rigidity and strength. I have also decided to design it as one of the professional fixture tables. One of the advantages of this kind of table is that I can clamp down pieces right here in the center of the table, as well as the edges. It also offers great precision and repeatability for all of your weldments. And while I'm looking at it, I also have a car that I bought with my brother, and we are trying to restore it, but we don't really have the time yet, but it's going to happen, and I will film some of it. While we're on the topic of the car, I am actually making a rotisserie. I have to mount it on this rotating beam right here. Then the car can be rotated 360 degrees with ease. The way it's mounted is just through these square holes in the car. And of course I have my trusty TIG welder. It's just a DC 160 amp machine. It's from Mechatronic, but it's doing its job. I would really like to get an AC/DC due to the limiting factors of not being able to weld aluminum, but I have some other places I can do that, and it's not really a common thing for me anyways. It's a decent machine. I have all my welding rods here, my welding supplies, extra stuff like gas cups and tungstens. Right next to it I have an ongoing project. I'm remaking a trike. It's originally a 3-wheeled motorcycle. It's registered and legal, but we thought that the bed of the vehicle was a bit too short, so I lengthened it with some help from my father, but I think I can do most of it. Right here under all the mess I have my forge, which is functional, but it has been stored away. It was one of the first projects I ever made in welding school, so I think it's pretty great, and it works pretty good. I have it hooked up to electricity so that I can pump through air, and it works just by the switch. So I can just try to throw something in here and it's lifting up pretty high, which means the flow of air is pretty good. And I also have a little shaker here just to take some of the chunks of metal and coal out when it's needed. Right next to the forge I have a little closet thing where I store some of my random things. It's not really something I use yet, I just bought it very cheap. And right on top I have some paint supplies. I really like this hammerite. It's insanely durable and it is very easy to paint with. I've also recently gone out and bought some of these giant casters from Facebook. These are the ones I'm going to use for my rotisserie. And while I'm here, I can just show you my working station, my work table. I have some tools. This is a pretty nice table. It's my brother's, but he lets me use it, and I really like it. And of course, you would always need some music in your workshop, so I have a speaker up on the wall here. I just made a mount so it would be out of the way. And I need to buy a 3D printer so I can get all of the sharp edges out of the way. I would like to make plastic cover. I know you can't really see it, but I've been trying to organize some of my steel parts. I have these big steel plates up on the wall here. It's 20 mil thick. I might have some ideas for projects in the future, but as for now they have to be off to the side. Right next to it I have some homemade shelving for my tools. I would really like to become more organized, so I built this one, just TIG welded it together. It's not the nicest welds, but yeah, I guess it's doing its job, so it's pretty decent. This is also something I made in welding school. I think it's quite nice. And these parts on the floor right here, they are for the car as well. They are for the rotisserie, these stands right here. And I actually have a drawing of the complete assembly right here. It's just two ends, of which I can bolt these into the cars, and one of the ends has the rotating reduction gear, and the other end just needs these plates. I have my assortment of metals and woods. I have some different lengths of pipe. I have round bits, I have big square pipes and some smaller. Not a lot of rectangular, but it's not very common for me to use anyways. This here is a pipe bender, which I have just purchased yesterday, so it's quite new. It works okay, but it's manual of course, but I don't have a lot of space, so this is what I have to do with. It's pretty good for plate steel, but it only goes to 70 mm in width, so it's quite small, but it satisfies my needs, which is quite admirable. Besides it, I have my saw, which is currently unplugged because I had to move these lengths of steel in yesterday, so I haven't really set it up again. It's pretty nice when you don't have a big workshop that you have wheels on all your things. It makes a much more enjoyable situation for yourself. Pretty good clamping. It has decent capability for pipes and square pieces. Pretty easy controls. It's just start, stop, slow, quick, water, off and on. You can also cut wood in this, so that's why you can turn off the water. Next up is my anvil, which weighs 153 kilograms. I would say it's quite a big one, compared to my hand right here. It does need a restoration. I will try to get it to a milling shop to make it bright and shiny. The block of wood weighs roughly 50 kilograms, so it's not as heavy. It's a pretty good chunk of wood. Right behind it, I have another workstation, which hasn't got a lot of tools yet, but it does have some nice bits and pieces. Like this one right here. It's a angular rotating thing. I don't really know what it's called, but it's quite nice to have for when you get a milling machine, which I haven't bought yet. But I will soon, I promise. Right below it is a surface plate. It's pretty straight, but it has some scuffs and marks because it was originally from a school. You can't really trust students around nice things, I guess. Here's a vise for my future milling machine as well, and a 90-degree angle block. I have quite the assortment of drills, mixed drills. I've just been buying stuff from the internet. Some nicer drills and a tapping set that goes from M3 to M12. I also have one of these boxes with cheaper drills I just use whenever I don't want to get one of the better ones. And I also have a bench grinder. I really need a belt sander over here in my workshop. This doesn't really cut it for taking off large chunks of metal. Here is my drilling machine. It's quite a big machine for my workshop. It has 9 speeds. You have an electrical switch, and you also have 3 gears in each speed. So it's quite nice. Here is my plate bender. It's a scan tool machine. I bought it used. It did have some surface rust on the bare steel, but it just used a vinegar mixture to take off all of the rust. It's quite a nice tool to have in your workshop. It will be a big help on the car project when I get it going. Until now I have just disassembled everything. In case any of you are wondering, I do have a MIG machine, but it's not working that well, and I really like the cleanliness of TIG welding, so I think I'll stick to that for now. I do have a lathe and another drilling machine in another building, right here. It's quite a small room, but it does the trick. This is a Colchester Student Mark II lathe. It runs pretty well. It does have some wear and tear here and there. And here is the drill. The way it works is you just stomp on these pedals right here, which makes it very easy to reverse rotation of the shaft here. It also makes it eligible to tapping, which isn't as easy with normal drilling machines. I do also have a 20-ton press here in the window. I have some of my fun projects from school and from home. I did some TIG welding right here. It's like an infinite loop of steel tubes. I really hope you enjoyed the video of me showing around my workshop right here. If you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to throw them in the comments down below. And always remember to like and subscribe. And have a nice day. See you later, guys.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.